Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden rally tonight was such a disaster. There were so many terrible moments that there were a lot of them that were missed. And two in particular really stand out to me, with two individuals whose name starts with an M. The first is Mike Johnson, who Donald Trump said something to and about which should be incredibly concerning to us all. And the second is Melania, who Donald had a really weird interaction with that I've seen nobody cover. And we are going to get into both of those moments, which were incredibly weird and are going to be incredibly damaging to Donald Trump. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me. Now let's get into this first really weird thing that Donald Trump said to Mike Johnson right here.
And I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over.
He is saying the quiet part out loud. He said, after the race, we may or may not let you know about our little secret in the House. Donald Trump is explicitly saying if he loses this race, they are once again going to try to challenge the results of our election. But this time, there will be a Republican Speaker of the House to help Donald Trump go along with his plan. That should terrify us all. He is openly admitting it to it. He says it's our little secret. Only we've talked about it. That is terrifying. How are more people not talking about this? Donald Trump is openly admitting what he wants to do. This should be terrifying to us all, and especially with the extreme language Donald Trump is talking about Mike Johnson with in this clip right here.
It's not easy when you have a majority of 3, but he's done a great job, and he's going to continue to do a great job, and we like him. He's a terrific person. I watched him just totally decapitate a fake reporter on NBC, Meet the Press, Meet the Fake Press. What he did to her was, I think that probably she'll never be the same.
Now, we covered the interview on Meet the Press that Donald Trump is referring to with Mike Johnson, and I don't think he decapitated the reporter, which is some pretty deranged and extreme language to use about an interview. I remember it going something like Mike Johnson completely falling apart as his lies were exposed, but I know Donald Trump doesn't really have a great memory, not a lot going up there at this point in time, but clearly Mike Johnson's brain isn't working too well either, because before we get to Melania, he said this during his speech.
We revere the founding principles. We revere our Judeo-Christian foundations. We revere individual freedom and limited government and the rule of law and peace through strength and fiscal responsibility, free markets, human dignity, secure borders.
The GOP is the party of law and order, you say. The party that is about to try to break our election laws again. The party that sent violent insurrectionists to the Capitol to attack police officers. And the party whose nominee has 34 felonies to his name. That's the party of law and order, Mike? Really? Are you serious? These people are a joke. They're hypocrites. They're ridiculous. And what was also ridiculous was the speech that Melania Trump gave to warm up her husband before he came on stage. And when he did, it got awkward. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some of this speech. It's a difficult watch, so we'll keep it short.
Crime is on the rise, while public safety diminishes, creating an environment where families with young children choose to relocate. And this story repeats itself from coast to coast across our nation. This is America.
Oh boy, that was difficult to get through for the eyes and for the ears, especially for the ears. That was a tough listen, but it only got worse for Donald Trump when he was introduced by his wife. I almost said ex-wife there. I wanted to, maybe soon, probably soon. And I'm saying probably because of this moment right here. I guess Donald Trump didn't pay for the onstage kiss package with Melania in this event. We know that her speaking fees have been paid to appear at Trump campaign rallies or Trump events. So I don't think he paid for the deluxe deal for this one, because that was a pretty awkward kind of half. You could see her like, no, I'm good. Please don't. Ugh. makes me as uncomfortable as she is. But it wasn't the only bad moment, of course, for Donald Trump. There were plenty, one specifically that is being absolutely destroyed online, and we are going to get into that. But before we do, CNN put together a couple of fact checks on this event that I think were great and I think we should watch.
We're watching a rally from Madison Square Garden with former President Donald Trump, where we are hearing scores of lies from the former president. He has come on stage and said a number of things that are just not true, starting with a number of things on immigration. He repeated his lies that there was no relief money for victims of the hurricanes in North Carolina and Florida and other states, because he claims that the government gave it all to migrants and that there was none left. That is patently untrue. FEMA had to set up a website to debunk that, and some people have not gone and gotten help that they needed because of those lies. He also repeated another lie that in Springfield, that thousands of immigrants were dumped in Springfield, Missouri illegally. In fact, the city website says that Haitian immigrants are there legally under the Immigration Parole Program, and that they independently chose to move there. They were not sent by any program. Again, we have heard a number of lies. He also started talking about the fact that he thinks Kamala Harris would put a draft in place. It's worth noting there is no active draft in place. He has also talked about the economy, when a number of economists have pointed out that the tariffs that Trump continues to talk about and want to put into place would harm the American economy and truly harm American consumers, who would see the prices of goods go up, and that there are real concerns about what those economic policies could lead to. We do have Kristen Holmes there, who is inside.
As can be expected, a lot of lies and a lot of fact checks. A lot of fact checks needed, a lot more than just in that clip right there. And of course, one of the most important was a comedian tonight. I don't even want to use the word comedian. I think y'all know where I'm going with this. A comedian made a disgusting joke about Puerto Rico, which was immediately crushed by AOC and Tim Walz in a clip that we just have to watch because it was a perfect takedown.
These are terrifying.
Absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, you know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. No.
Who is that, Jack Wad? Who is that guy?
Actually, I think that's Tony Hinchcliffe, which is super disappointing. I mean, I don't, he's a comedian. I don't follow
look, Trump,
this like
this
crew
issue
very
with Puerto
closely,
Rico
but...
again. I saw it. This was when he went down after Helene, the horrific hurricane, people there, everybody coming together. We sent helicopters down from Minnesota and personnel. You know, this is how you do this during this. And in the first hours, Trump complaining about the response. Does anybody remember how he responded to Maria in Puerto Rico? It was absolutely horrific. Down there insulting people, throwing it. Look, I know that the folks who are on here today understand this. People in Puerto Rico are citizens. They pay taxes and they serve in the military at almost a higher rate than anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, it's like super upsetting. Obviously, it's super upsetting to me. My family is from Puerto Rico. I'm Puerto Rican. And like, the thing that is so messed up that I wish more people understood is that the things that they do in Puerto Rico are a testing ground for the policies and the horrors that they wish to, and that they do unveil in working class communities across the United States. And I need people to understand that when you have some a-hole calling Puerto Rico floating garbage, know that that's what they think about you. That's just what they think about you. It's what they think about anyone who makes less money than them. It's what they think about the people who serve them food in a restaurant. It's what they think about the people who fold their clothes in a store. Like,
you're
dude,
right.
Are you serious? Like, are you serious?
Yeah, the privilege of being on this campaign is traveling across the entire country. There are hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans across in battleground states that need to send them a message on this.
I want them to like
gotta vote.
Roll that. I want everyone in Philadelphia to see that clip. If you live in Philly, why don't you go and see that
Reading?
clip?
Yes.
If you live in Reading, Pennsylvania, which I was there. I was in Reading last week. If you're in Reading,
Great
if you're in
community.
Philly,
Super, yeah.
look at that trash. Like, what is trash is people actually just thinking of other human beings that way. Are you actually for real? And the thing that gets me is that these people rely, their entire lives rely on working class people. If you have
Oh, yeah.
someone that's not there to harvest the crops that show up in your grocery store, in your Erewhon or your Whole Foods or wherever it is that you go to eat, if you think lesser of working class Americans, of
Caring
people
for
who
our
are
children.
Perfectly put by AOC and Tim Walz. These guys, really? This is who we want in charge? These are our leaders? Xenophobic, racist weirdos making bad jokes. This comedian. It's just terrible. This is not what our country should be. Of course, Donald Trump lately saying America's a trash can. It's garbage. Third world. All of his complaints. Just aggrieved. Just a whiny little petulant child. Just a baby. So angry. This is not what our country is. It's not what we're about. What happened to the patriotism? It was fake patriotism from MAGA before. It was there. It's not anymore. And I give them credit, certainly. Again, fake patriotism. Now they're just angry. Now they're just aggrieved. Kamala Harris laid out those stakes so perfectly right here.
Just imagine the Oval Office on January 20th. It's going to be one or two people. It's going to be either Donald Trump or me. If it's Donald Trump, you can see what that day is going to be. It will be him sitting at that desk, stewing over his enemies list. He is full of grievance. He is full of dark language that is about retribution and revenge. And so the American people have a choice. It's either going to be that or it'll be me there, focused on my to-do list, focused on the American people and getting through that list of goals and plans to improve the lives of the American people.
Last one, Jack.
It is the enemies list versus the to-do list. Could it be clearer than that? No, it couldn't. How can anyone watch anything that went down tonight and said, you know what, I think I like this MAGA group. The angry individuals breaking the law, making xenophobic jokes, bad relationships with their wives. Who would want to be a part of that? I certainly don't. And we're going to be talking about that every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.